through the intercession of Saint Mary, Saint George, and Amba Karas, hear us when we say together, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day. As we forgive us. All right, so today we're supposed to talk for pre-servant. So only Stephen here pre-servant, and for you future pre-servant. So always when I start any new program for pre-servant, I usually teach history of a church. So we take all history of a church. So it's very important. I got you this one. Why you think we like to start with Saint Mark? Who's Saint Mark? How much you know about him? A lot. Very good. Why? Why we study a lot about him? He's the founder of the Christianity in Egypt. Not only the church, Christianity in Egypt. Egypt in the early stage was pagan. They believe in idols and all this stuff. But Saint Mark, he founder of our church. But unfortunately, we have minimum picture for him in our home. You can find Saint Mary, you can find Baccarolus, some people Saint George, but very few homes they understand how important Saint Mark in our church and how important Saint Mark he start and establish the Christianity in Egypt. Because if Saint Mark didn't get and visit Egypt, all of us were still atheists or worship pagan or the idols. So very important in any topic, we need to start. Who's Saint Mark? Number one. He wrote one of the gospel, very good. What else? Apostles. What else? Did he done a mass for us? No. That's what you think. But he done the first mass ever done by Saint Mark, and Bab Carolus, the seal of martyrs, Bab Carolus number 24, he's the one done some change. That's the third mass for the Bab Sira. That's Saint Mark, he done it. Not Saint Sira, the founder was Saint Mark, and he done some change for this mass. So first mass ever we have was mass of Saint Mark. Okay, before I go to in Saint Mark, because all the topic today about Saint Mark, why we need to study history of a church? Why usually we study history?
To know more about the topic.
We need to know more about our church. We need to know more about our belief. We need to know about the mass. We need to know about our faith. So when we want to talk about the baptism, we start to look where is the baptism in our Bible and our history. When we talk about the creed, did the creed in the Bible? The creed done in Council of Nicaea. We study the history, so we understand the creed. They completely written from Council of Nicaea. The compilation of the creed, it's written for another council. The introduction of the creed, complete with other council. So firstly, we study the history to know how our church, one of the early church of the world. Number two, we need to understand that our Pope, how these people was very smart and intelligent when they have anything for theology. Our Pope was the head of the council. Number three, to understand when you attend the Tasbihah and you look to the Theotokiyat or Theotokos, the Saint Mary, all this done by Bab Carolus 24. So you can see when you study all this one, you see how proud you are on our church. And if I bring you this photo for your grandfather, I put at home. Sometimes we have my dad, his photo at home, and my mom at home. If I bring your photo of your grandfather at home, and your dad never talk about your grandfather, you will know anything about him? You know, after your dad passed away, what you will do? You will take this photo, very nice, and put in recycle bin. But if I know my grandfather, he teach my dad to be honest, and dad teach me the same. If I know he was very kind person and he gives the poor, if I know his story very well, do you think I will take it and through? So that's very important. We need to understand all this photo around us, all this father of the church, what they done for us. That's why we appreciate and put the photo with us, and we keep even the cover on the relics, a big blessing for us, and we take the blessing, and every year for commemoration of the patriarch or martyrs, we celebrate for them. All right, Saint Mark, his name, he has two names. First one Marcus, and second name? Mark. Very good, John. His name John, and they call him Mark. Always this in the early church, they have a Roman's name because the Roman was occupy Judea or Jerusalem, and the Hebrew name. So John, the translation compassion, and the Mark, the hammer, because they said he hammering all the idols and these people who are from tribe of Levi. Yeah, what's the tribe of Levi? The tribe of priesthood. His family was very, very religious person in Judea, and his mom, her name Mary, and was one of the three Mary around the cross. So when we read close to Good Friday, her name mentioned a lot. His dad, his name Aristobulus, and he's the cousin of Saint Peter. That's why Saint Mark, he saw Jesus many times. He born in the city Pentapolis, something close to Libya, because this Jewish was on all this area. His family was very rich family. That's why they teach him Greek language. He learned the Latin and the Hebrew. That's why when he wrote his books, he wrote it in Greek language. Greek language was like English nowadays. Everyone can understand. His family go to Palestine and they stay there. Some thief come take their position in Libya, so they have to leave and they back to Palestine. His photo with the lion here, very popular photo. Why we put the lion in his photo all the time?
There's a story with him.
Yeah, what?
All I know is that the lion did not harm Saint Mark.
Yes. So when they travel between Libya to go Palestine, he and his dad, he was in that time, he believed in Christ. So the two lions come to attack them. So Saint Mark, he pray and sign the cross. They die and didn't harm them. And his dad, when he saw this one, he surprised. So he started talking to him about Christianity. And when you look to the picture of the four gospel, always we put his gospel, the lion picture. And in the beginning of his Bible, first verse in his book, or chapter 1, verse 3, crying loud, a voice crying in the wilderness. That's why they put lion with him, because from this miracle. And Jesus, he's a lion coming out of the tribe of Judea. His house, the most famous house in the Bible. Number one, in his house, Jesus, he done the Passover. That's his house, remember? And number two, he washed the feet of the disciple in his house. First mass happened in his house. The first mass Jesus done and gives the body and the blood in his house. After the resurrection, the disciple was hid in his house. In his house, the Holy Spirit come on the disciple. And when Saint Peter, in book of Acts, chapter 2, he come out of jail, first house he visit was the house of Saint Mark. Why we focus about this? Because some of people, or some of the church, they say Saint Mark didn't see Jesus. That's why we call him, he's the one saw Jesus Christ, when you hear in the commemoration. He one of the 70 apostle, not the 12. He one of the 70, written in book of Luke chapter 10, verse 1 to 12. And the father of the church, all they agree he was one of the 70. In book of Mark chapter 14, verse 13 to 15, he found Jesus, he asked someone who carries a boat, and he told the disciple, go, you found someone outside, he carries a boat, ask him where we do the Passover. They said he's the person, he guides the disciple to show them where is the Passover. That was in his house. Okay, go into the city and a man will meet you carrying a latch of water. Follow him, ask where the guest room, and this one is the room they call it usual upper room. He preached in Asia, Europe, he in Judea. He worked with some Peter, he preached in Jerusalem. He went to Antioch. He preached with St. Paul and Barnabas. He went to Cyprus, all this, and Rome, and a lot of Greek area. After this one, he started firstly from Libya, because this was his origin country, so he preached them first. And after he went in Alexandria from the desert back way. And in Egypt in that time they have very big schools, the school of Alexandria. Anyone who want to learn anything was the school of Alexandria. They learn philosophy, they learn mathematics, they learn religion, they learn everything. Egypt in that time, they have a lot of religion. Was about 750,000 was living in Alexandria. There was Jewish, there was Greek, there was Romans, and all the Egyptian. The Jewish have a lot of temple, the Romans have their temple, the Greek have a temple, and he went in Egypt, no Christian at all in that time, and the Hebrew and the language was speaking in this time was the language like Greek language because it's popular. So he went, and before he go, he was praying to go to Egypt. God opened the door for him to teach them Christianity. Because like we said, his family was very religious. And if you look in book Isaiah chapter 19 verse 19, God he talk in this prophecy, I will have as an altar in the midst of Egypt. So all this one in St. Mark mind, and this actually now this is the monastery of St. Mary في المحرة. They have an altar inside. This altar every day they pray Coptic mass except the 3 days in Passion Week. And in this altar, this altar, Jesus himself, he consecrates this altar with his feet. And when the Pope come to consecrate this one, Saint Mary appeared to him, told him, you cannot consecrate this altar because my son he consecrate. And this altar, Saint Mary and Jesus stay in this room for 6 months, and Joseph the carpenter. Until now, when you go Egypt, you visit this. It's very nice, and I saw it 2 years ago. So he was praying, God opened the door for me, and how he started preaching in Alexandria, what happened? When he was walking, he was wearing sand shoes, or what he was wearing?
Oh yeah.
What he was wearing?
Sandals.
Sandals. And when he just walked in, what happened to his sandals? Broke. So what happened? He need to fix it. So when he fixed it, he found someone fixing the shoes, and this man, during he fixed the shoes, what happened to him? The needles come to his finger, and it was very bad, and started bleeding. Saint Mark, he took some of the sand, stopped, and the man, he said, Eos Theos, yani, the only God. So Saint Mark started to talk to him. This man, his name Inianus, and was the first pope on our church after Saint Mark. So he tell him, do you know the only God? He said, we believe in God. He said, no, come. He come to his home, and he started preaching him about the Christianity. He started to believe, and he was, like I said before, he was after Saint Mark, as a first pope ordained after Saint Mark. And Saint Mark in that time, he ordained Bishop Inianus and the 3 priests and 7 deacons. This is the first time someone be ordained in the church. They found in the Egypt, they teaching about philosophy, they teaching about another religion, they teach about this one. So Saint Mark, he was very intelligent. He want to understand how these people, what they believe, So you need to understand, so you can talk to them about your religion. So one head of this teacher of this school, his wife was demon possessed. So when the son Mark started to talk to people, in Janus, his son was studying in the school of Alexander. He told his teacher, come see San Mark. San Mark, he saw his wife, he prayed in her, they cast demon away. And Justus, the one, he can be later on the Pope number 6, he started to believe. So they make Justus to start to open a section for the Christianity in the school of Alexandria. In that time, the school just a group of people sit together, they learning by dialogue. You ask a question, the teacher answer. You ask a question, the teacher answer. That's how they learn. So not like now they have a building, a school head. No. They can maybe sit in the park and they talk together and they explain everything. So Justus, he start to open this one. They start teaching them. And this was the school of Alexandria. All the Pope from other side or the bishop, like St. John Chrysostom, St. Basil, the one he wrote the Mass, they came and they learned. St. Gregorian, the miracle performer, they came and learned in the school of Alexandria. He started writing his Bible, the book of St. Mark, to give it to Inianus, and he wrote the Mass for St. Mark. We call him, he took 4 crowns. Number 1, crown of martyrs. Number 2, crown of apostolics. Number 3, crown of preaching. After this one, crown of he didn't marry. How he martyred? The start Alexandria was all their belief was atheist. But St. Mark, when he started teaching people Christianity, they said Egypt was one of the very fastest city to be Christian. Why? Because if you look to the history of Pharaonic, we have similar God who was preparing their brain to be believing Christianity. Like we have the story of Isis and Osiris and Horus. Yeah. A woman married man without a relationship, and they have Horus the son. So similar, like Saint Mary, she conceived without married and all this stuff. So Egypt was very, very quick believing Christianity. The day of Archangel Michael, 12 of every Coptic month we celebrate, they have a feast for them, so we change it to Christianity. The altar, if you go to Luxor, you found some of the altar, Egyptian take over and put the cross. Was a lot of similar stuff from Pharaonic, they be a Christian. So in Easter night, St. Mark was making the Mass, and the atheist people get very angry because their business as those idols, they lost a lot of business. People stop buying the idols. They know these idols doesn't do anything. He talked to them about God. They start to convert to Christianity. The church full of people, so the pagan people, they gather together and they grab him from the Mass of midnight Mass for resurrection on the church. They grab him, they tied his head, they grab him in all the street of Alexandria. He nearly dies, they put him in one of the cells. Next day, Jesus appeared to him and the Archangel Michael healed him. And Jesus, he tell him, you will get the crown of martyrs. Next day, they done the same until he died. They left him in the street and they tried to burn his body. A big storm come, the water stopped the fire and the Christian took him. Pope Carolus VI, he bring his body, part of his body, in Egypt until now under our cathedral. They have the head of St. Mark in Alexandria, and we have part of big body in Egypt. They stole the rest of the body, went to Rome, but Pope Carolus, he bring a big part under the cathedral in Egypt when you go visit. Very important. We are son and daughter of St. Mark. What we learn for his job, we need to continue his job. If St. Mark didn't come to Egypt, we're not going to be Christian. Thank God everyone come to our church, he's Christian. That's right. So what we need to do his job, to continue his job. Very important, if someone didn't come, we'll visit him or we'll call him at least. Number 2, he wrote his Bible. Why he write his Bible? For our learning. We need to read the Bible. Number 3, these people work very hard to give us the faith. So we need to all to know our face. Look, he shed his blood for the right face. Okay, so we need to understand about our Christianity. That's why we firstly will learn his story, so we follow his footsteps. Now our church, it's very simple and easy. You know, these people, when he come to Egypt, he even not have a shoes. Not even his sandal wasn't good enough, they broke. Now we thank God we have a car, we have a phone, we have all this modern and technology and all this one. We need to learn. Put the phone in your pocket, you be good. We need to learn, you know, we need to learn here how we can get tired and work hard for the church. Attend the tasbih even if you by yourself. We read the Bible, we know about our Christianity, because now the challenge very hard. You will go to the university, people ask you, did you really believe in three gods? How you can answer? Why we say this in the creed? You need to answer. How come Saint Mary conceived Jesus Christ? Did really God can born? You need to answer. You need to answer to say God, he's full human and the full God, but he joined together. Okay, so we need to answer, we need to learn. That's very important to carry on the teaching of Saint Mark. Saint Mark, when he makes the theological college, he make it for us, and I was thank God I have my certificate until now, and they put the picture of Saint Mark from the theological college. I did my degree in theology in Cathedra in Egypt, and they always put his foot. We need to follow his step. You not have to study, but you can read about theology. Here we have another university here for us as a Coptic. I think as you do next Saint Mark, you can learn some courses, and they give you credit too in your university. Some of the stuff here, like you see, like Habib Gerges, he carry on what Saint Mark done, and he's the first founder of Sunday school. We need you when you grow to be a Sunday school servant, but Sunday school servant, you need to know what you're talking about, because nowadays kids can ask you question. She will have a question, what you can do, or he has a question when the kids ask you. You look to yourself now young, but you don't know what's happening next 5-10 years. You're running a class, or you'll be a deacon, running all the deacons, and you have to give them the hymns you learn. All this one very important. If someone asks you about this part of the hymns, how we can say God incarnate? Because some of the hymns, all these hymns fulfill all the prophecy about the church. I don't want to keep you long this 20 minutes now. Any question? How many crowns Saint Mark took? 4. What they are?
Martyrs and evangelist.
And?
Not getting married.
Yep. What else?
Preaching.
Yeah, very good. Saint Mark, anyone he know when he passed away or he martyred, how old? Was about, I think, 52 to 54. What the first pope was after Saint Mark?
Saint Ananias.
Ananias. And now they ordained a bishop. He was a monk here from St. Anthony Monastery. He was serving in Queensland. They call him Amba Anianus. Yeah, very good. They create this name again, or they repeat this name. Or how many deacons Saint Mark ordained?
7.
So how many priests?
Was it 3 priests?
3. Yeah, and after he left Egypt, before he martyred, he checked the area he was preaching. They found bigger, and they come. They ordained more priests, more deacons. And they said in all city of Egypt, in very short time, like I mentioned before, was Christian. All right. How many chapters in Saint Mark Gospel? Hard?
35.
We never have any Gospel, so even the book of Acts. All New Testament, they have no 35. Only 16, the smallest one. Okay, why we have the picture of the lion on the picture of Saint Mark? Stephen, he said it. Because the first miracle he done, okay, and the gospel presented by the picture of lion. Did he write a mass, mister?
Yeah.
Okay. So he write a mass, he write a gospel. Okay, very important. And which verse he was put in his mind when he come to Egypt? I mentioned this verse.
19.
Book of Isaiah 19, chapter 19, verse 19.
Altering the midst
Midst of Egypt. And which monastery is this one? When you go home, have a look. I visit this one, Samir al-Maharrab. A big monastery. If you go Egypt, you must visit all this one. George, تحب add something? أنا خلصت بسرعة عشان ما نأخرهمش.
Take great point.
Yeah, take this from the relics. This from the top of relics of San Mark in Egypt. Yeah, this cover. One of the priests, my friend, he sent it to me. What happened? I told George first time. I always when I give history of a church. One time, one of the church asked me to give a course of history of a church. I was thinking which one I start first, San Mark or Habib Gerges. So I found the priest sent it to me in the same week. I said I have to start with San Mark, and I dream about him 2 times before I start. So I said every class I start a new Sunday school, pre-servant, I start with San Mark. Next one, we can take maybe some of the scholar until we come to Bob 17, Bob Peter, the Seal of Martyrs. His story very nice too. Yes, George.
I agree 100%. The biggest war now for the youth. For the elderly, thank God, we can reply back, but they always talking about you always believe in 3 gods. Why did it has to come by himself and incarnate? Who would say you're still unforgiven? Why he has to come and incarnate, All of these kind of questions, you will face it. Just a very quick story. There's someone in Egypt just recently. She's in uni, surrounded with a group of boys and girls, and they pushing her hard to change her Christianity. And they always asking her to doubt herself about the belief. There's many questions, so that's why you need to ask. If you don't know, ask. And there is an answer to any question. There is an answer to any question.
All this question repeated. The devil, he used the same question in different technique. We went through all this one, okay? But you always be like this lady Samaritan woman. The time she believed, never come back. The blind man, the time he confessed Jesus, you are the God, the Son of God, and he worship him, he never come back. The lady I was talking about her, the one, the oil coming from the pitcher, the pitcher of St. Mary. This lady, she was away, but the time she start convert, and the face, you never come back. We are a Christian, we never come back. Something you're not sure, ask. Everything we have an answer. All this, our religion, more than 2,000 years. And you want to talk about some people like Islam, come in year 650, after Jesus Christ, 600 years. And they say, oh, Jesus didn't crucify. If the apostles, the people they watch, they said he crucified. Why we believe someone 600 years after? I was giving topic and was very sensitive. Nearly big problem happened. So I stopped first here because I doesn't want